Kykar wins Fury versus the also fun to play against Narset, Enlightened Master. Couple of Jeskai commanders this time. We have Ponder, couple of rocks, disallow, yeah, I quite like that. We're going to empty our hand quite quickly, but at least we can get down Kykar and hopefully with some counterspell backup as well. Get the Ponder going first. Alright, just lands on top, which actually, I don't think I mind any of that. We need white first, so let's go for... We'll put that there, and Glacial Fortress we can draw into. We will not shuffle, we have 2 lands on top. Let's pass over to our opponent. Narset, Enlightened Master, 6 mana for a 3/2 first strike hexproof. When it attacks, exile the top 4 cards of your library, and you can cast non-creature cards exiled that way without paying their mana cost. Kykar wins Fury is 4 mana for a 3/3 flyer. You can sack a spirit for red, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get a 1/1 spirit with flying. And typically speaking, Narset is usually control in the early game and then cheating out a bunch of extra turn spells and stuff like that in the mid to late game. So we'll see how much of our stuff gets counted. Cannot do anything else there, so we will just pass the turn. And I'm actually not above a disallow onto a fetch land. And that might be worth remembering, although they cracked the Scalding Tarn straight away there. And they've got into the Talisman of Creativity themselves. Scry 2 and draw with the Preordain. Okay, we know we've got another land on top. We can go for... yeah, the Rugged Prairie into the Izzet Signet and hold up the Disallow. Now our opponent's pausing there, so I don't know if they are bluffing or if they actually had a free counter spell there. Okay, that's more mana. I think it's worth letting that down for now. Alright, Prismatic Vista is okay, but I don't know what we want to fetch with that. Alright, why don't we just threaten our opponent with counter spells, even though we don't have one in hand that we're going to be able to cast. We'll just pretend that we do, and see if our opponent wants to play around counter magic. Worst case scenario, it gets removal out of our opponent's hand. Alright, they get a tap land. It's better than them getting a mana crypt into play. Alright, yeah, getting into more mana. We can hold up Sphinx's Revelation. Let's get down the plains and just swing in at our opponent. Now, if they go for their commander here, we can go for the counter, but I think they'll probably have counter magic in hand. Okay, an extra turn after this one. Yeah, I'll just let that through. Might just be an exploration. Okay, Mystical Tutor. Yeah, well, if they go for free counter magic off of that, then we'll just have to allow it. We could always disallow Narset's ability once Narset swings in. Yeah, they go for the free counter magic in Force of Will. Don't think I've ever come across a casual Narset player. It always seems to be the typical spiky extra turn spells version of Narset. Don't know if I've ever shown it on the channel before or not though, so that should at least be interesting to some people. Now let's force them to get rid of a couple of cards out of their hand. Would help if the Signet would tap properly. We'll at least get a bird token out of the deal. And there's the Force of Will. What did they exile to that? They got rid of long-term plans. So that will definitely get countered. We will get our Spirit, and Narset will enter play here. Alright, a Fact or Fiction. I think we will play now. Oh, that's a tricky one for our opponent. Now, unfortunately, with the mission briefing, I have tapped down too much blue mana. And that's the problem with not knowing what you're going to get into. We could have gone for mission briefing onto disallow. But we are going to be a blue mana short for that. So in that case, I think it's a case of trying to get off to the races with the Ogre Battle Driver. I think this is what happened last game as well. Just have to hope that our opponent doesn't get into anything too amazing with the Narset. But that's a big ask, really. Ogre Battle Driver makes our creatures come into play with haste and +2 to their power. Just going to leave everything back here. If they want to swing in with Narset, we can block with all of our spirits, or both of our spirits, and the Kykar. And that will get rid of Narset. That is exactly what they're going for. We'll at least see the cards first. There's, an Armageddon, a Mana Drain, and a Talisman. Now, just to... is Armageddon all that bad here? We've got mana with the spirits and the talismans. I say we just let Narset through here. Yeah, especially if we're trying to outrace our opponent with combat damage. Getting down the talisman. And the mana drain's gone forever at least, because it's until the end of their turn that they can cast it. Alright, just going for Terminus. So they can go in any order. Kykar will not go into the library because the Tuck rule is now gone. Alright, and they are deciding to go for that Armageddon. So this game is going to get dragged out even further. Let's shock down the Hallowed Fountain and go for an Azorius Signet. And then we can hold up Impulse and try and get a little bit of something going. They might have counter magic for if we do get into Kykar again. But we just have to play it out and see what we can get going. Do we want the Lantern or Dig Through Time? I think Dig Through Time is better, isn't it? We've got plenty of cards in the graveyard. Aware? Well, I don't mind that. Let's crack the Prismatic Vista for... just more blue. The more blue the better in this deck, I think. We'll go for the Dig Through Time. We'll have to pay 2 blue and exile 6 cards from our graveyard. Just make them lands. Alright, what have we got here? Gravitational Shift shows up again. I say we take a land in Sacred Foundry. And an Arcane Denial. Yeah, I think that's okay. And then, how about we get rid of the Jeskai Banner with Aware. And that's our opponent down to 2 mana. We will be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana next turn. And we'll have Counterspell held up as well, or an Arcane Denial. And yeah, we managed to win against an Armageddon, some extra turn cards, and quite frankly, a very powerful Narset deck. So I'm quite happy with that. Don't like playing against Narset Enlightened Master because, well, for the reasons that we saw here. Not my idea of fun, but that doesn't mean that people shouldn't play it. It's just people have different views on these things. I'd be intrigued to see what your views are, actually, if you're one of the more spikier players, or if you are more in line with my way of thinking of not really going for cards like Armageddon and things like that. Not saying it should be banned or anything, but it's not really my line of play that I like to go for. Kykar wins Fury, wins out this one. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.